Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer. Well, in closing for Scottish Labour, I want to be clear that this motion is brought to the Chamber to ensure the voices of patients, carers, GPs and all primary care staff are heard loud and clear. And oh boy, has that been necessary. It is obvious that this SNP government and these backbenchers are ignoring the pleas for help from all corners of our healthcare system. It is unfortunate that in his amendments to our motion today, the Cabinet Secretary suggests that pressures on primary care are only due to the effects of Brexit, the global pandemic and the cost of living crisis. Granted, Deputy Presiding Officer, these do contribute to the pressures that are there. Of course they do. But there is a glaring omission that it is the First Minister's and the entire government's shocking mismanagement of the health service here in Scotland and honestly, their lack of openness to scrutiny, their constant harking back to what happened many years ago. My colleague Paul O'Kane pointed out they have been in government for 15 years. Given the Cabinet Secretary's closed approach, it is disappointing that, although not surprising, that his allies of the SNP are considering options such as privatisation of the NHS in Scotland. I give way to the Cabinet Secretary.
Something more recent than perhaps not 15 years ago. I wonder if Carol Mochan will want to apologise for Keir Starmer talking down overseas workers in their National Health Service, because anti-immigration rhetoric will certainly not help our NHS in this time of need.
Carol Mochan.
Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer. It is old and tired rhetoric that this government brings to us. It is constantly ignoring their own position here in Scotland. Deputy Presiding Officer, I actually wanted to say that I was heartened by the opposition that we have in the Chamber to the notion of privatisation of our much-loved NHS. And I do believe the government there. But I want to ask Stuart McMillan, does he actually believe that the BBC were lying to us about what happened? It cannot be understated just how concerning the broadcast reports of creeping privatisation were. It truly sent a shockwave through the NHS and the public when the story broke. And I see that the Cabinet Secretary is actually laughing at that. A fact made obvious by...
Hold on a second, Ms Mochan. Can you resume your seat a second?
Yeah.
I've made a number of pleas during the course of this debate for a degree of decorum, respect for those who are speaking across the chamber. It's not helped if we get barracking, both from government benches but also from the opposition benches, to the point where the person speaking is having to almost yell into the microphone. Can we have a bit more respect for the remainder of this debate? Carol Mochan, I can give you back to 5.5 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer. I want to just come back that I think that it made it more real to us that there were so many people sort of sent out to trash this story because obviously the government were concerned. And I want to, if you just give me 1 second, I want to just in particular mention the member Bob Doris, who I have had a lot of respect for over the time that I've been in this Parliament. But I did think that the speech that he gave today was really not a fair representation of what is going on. Of course, I'll take an intervention.
Gillian Martin, briefly.
Can Carol Mochan name one SNP MSP who has said that they will want to privatise the Scottish NHS? Just one sitting MSP.
Carol Mochan.
Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer. A change of heart there from the member. Yeah, of course, Mike Russell. But actually, what I would like to say to the member is, I wonder if the convener of the Health, Social Care and Sports Committee...
Would you
I
please,
wonder...
Carol Mochan, continue and conclude?
I wonder if the convener of the Health, Social Care and Sports Committee would like to add to the work programme that perhaps we should scrutinise some of this information that we have today. Deputy Presiding Officer, I realise that I will have to close. I think that what I have to say is that for the people of Scotland, for the workforce, for the health service, we need this Scottish Government, the Cabinet Secretary and, if I'm honest, the backbenchers to be much more open about what is actually happening in our health service. We need to look at what cuts have been made, what we can do to make a difference, and we need to ensure that this government will put up with scrutiny from the opposition benches, because good opposition makes good government, and I want the people of Scotland to have a good and fair public health service. Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Ms Mochan.